Hey everybody, PokeScion here, and I took Pokemon FireRed and randomized everything. When I say everything, I mean the starter Pokemon, the wild and trainer Pokemon, Pokemon abilities, field items, and secondary shop items. With that in mind, we ask, is it possible to beat a randomizer of Pokemon FireRed battling with only my random starter Pokemon? For this challenge, we'll have to set a few rules. Number 1, I can only battle with the Pokemon I received from Professor Oak at the start of the game, meaning that if I battle with any other Pokemon besides my starter, the run is invalid. However, having other Pokemon on the team for HM usage is allowed. Number 2, I cannot use medicinal items in battle. Held items are fine, but any potions or forward stores are off the table. Number 3, no glitches or any game-breaking exploits. I should also mention that this script is being written as the run goes on, so that you can get my genuine reaction to the things that we encounter as they happen. With that all said, let's do this! Alright, starting off, we picked the female trainer and named her Danny. Not that it matters a whole ton, but Danny is as close as I can get to Daniel, so that's what we're calling her. Then we have a rival, Solo, since this solo run is about to kick me so hard I can feel it. We then try to head to Route 1 so that we can fight wild Pokemon with our bare hands, but apparently that's not alright for a 10-year-old child to be doing, so we get told off by Professor Oak, who then gives us the options of our first, only, and last Pokemon that will ever get to see the limelight of battle. The choices that are presented to us are Deoxys, Meganium, and Aron. Just to make this run a little bit more challenging than it already is, I decided to let a random number generator decide my fate, and it did! We got Meganium, of which I named Subscribe, which is what you should do right now if you're excited to see the rest of the run. Not even 5 seconds after, Solo challenged us to a battle, having picked Deoxys. Deoxys is notoriously bad with his level up learn set, especially at early levels, only having Leer, Wrap, and Nightshade. We defeated the legendary Pokemon with ease and ended up gaining 3 levels! A humongous lead for us. Our next destination is Viridian City, where we have to be the professor's errand girl and bring back a parcel or something. Sheesh, there's not even a reliable delivery service in the Pokemon universe. But anyhow, we go back to Pewter Town and deliver the package to the old geezer, then he goes on about his whole life dream and how he wants us to catch some Pokemon or something and gives us Pokeballs, which we probably won't need any more of. So now, we are free to roam the Kanto region, and tackling the optional rival fight was my next objective. He first sends out a level 9 Weepinbell that was a little bulkier than I expected, but no problem at all for Subscribe! Then he sends out his Deoxys we saw earlier. Now, while Deoxys is an offensive beast, his defenses are atrociously bad, so we didn't have too much of a hard time with it. Side note, you may see the text move abnormally fast, but that's just because I used the universal Pokemon randomizer to make the game for this run, and fastest text was an option, so I figured why not. Next, we make our way to Pewter City for our Boulder badge. At this point, I realize that I'm a bit overleveled since the trainers in the Viridian Forest were at about level 6 or 7ish, so I'm going to need to calm down on the fighting the trainers a bit. But I mean, on the way there, our Meganium tried to learn Poison Powder, which I gave up Growl for. We ran into a Slacking, Typhlosion, and another Deoxys. I'm not going to lie, that would have scared me way more if I was under-leveled. Then, one trainer had a Coughing, which wouldn't be too frightening except for the fact that it had a Poison Gas in its moveset. Considering we cannot heal in battle or with medicine, that's bad. Never mind the fact that I did not buy antidotes on the way here, and I take damage every few steps. If you guys didn't know actually, the poison status can actually knock out your Pokemon outside of battle in Gen 3 and earlier. Which means that if I don't make it to Pewter in time with what we currently have, we are going to be in a real pickle. But luckily, we made it in time, and the first thing I'm doing is buying some antidotes. Now that we've rested up, we can go fight Brock. Or at least I thought it would be that easy. The first trainer there had a Groudon! At first, I was a little scared. Then I proceeded to Razor Leaf it into oblivion. The battle took us to level 19. At this point, I'm thinking I should probably skip a few trainers from here on if I can, because if we keep going on like this, there won't even be a challenge. With that said, we can now go to actually fight Brock. He sends out a Sandshrew as his first Pokemon, which was a walk in the park. And his second Pokemon was a Dusclops. Slightly bulky, but not a problem. So we got through the first gym without breaking a sweat. We then set our horizons on the Cerulean City gym and received a gift from the gods. Running shoes! No more painful walking speed! we are really overleveled now, forcing me to skip trainers if they're not necessary. With the level that we have, we're basically on par with Misty, and we're not even at Mount Moon yet. On my way to said cave, we ran into a trainer that had a Rayquaza! I don't know, just felt that was good to mention. In that battle, Meganium tried learning Synthesis, which is huge for us, since we can't use medicine in battle. When we went inside of Mount Moon, we swung left and got the TM for Aeroblast, and Meganium can learn it, so we overwrote Tackle for it. Only problem with Aeroblast is now we have less PP, so we have to be really cautious about when we use it. But besides that, it's an amazing move. Then we traverse through the cave. Also, can I just say how annoying it is to try to get through a cave without repels? Even without Zubat coming in every 5 seconds, it's still extremely irritating. Complaining aside, we got to the end of the cave where the Rune Maniac who's being picky about the fossils challenges us to a battle. Then pulls out a Groudon and a Salamence. I mean, just what is all that about? Regardless, not a problem at all for our OP Meganium. And if you're wondering, yes, I took the Helix fossil, but, I mean, you should all have a civil debate about what I should have picked in the comments below anyways. Out of the cave we are, and the 2 move tutors had pretty decent moves in Luster Purge and Glare, but I decided to stick with what I already have. We then arrive at Cerulean City, so let's pick a fight with Misty. She starts off with Hitmonlee, so one quick Aeroblast and it's gone. Then we cut up her Stantler with a few Razor Leaves and it was done, earning us the Cascade badge. She then gave us the TM for Psycho Boost, a ridiculously powerful Psychic-type move. I'll be sure to hang on to that, or not! Meganium can't learn it, so we're better off selling it for more money, and from that experience in the cave, I'll see to it myself that I buy some repels now. Moving on, we meet Solo again at the Nugget Bridge, where we quickly beat him, and after, he tells us he'll smell us later or something. Weird kid. Anyhow, the SSN is our next destination. Along the way, we got the TM for Cosmic Power, which I will hold on to in case we need it for later in the run if we happen to encounter something that hits super hard. And I decided it was as good a time as ever to catch something to use HMs on, but I cannot use it in battle. Alright, onto the ship itself. We've got another battle against Solo, who, wasn't very hard due to us having the huge level advantage. Granted, I wasn't even trying to be this overleveled. It's just how the experience gain works in every generation before Generation 5. Before Black and White, how much experience you gained from a battle just depended on the Pokemon you were fighting, but their level had nothing to do with it. So as long as you kept fighting a legendary Pokemon, let's say, which granted isn't normally supposed to happen, you can keep getting loads of experience, leading to easy overleveling. Now we move on to Lieutenant Surge. Also, the only reason why the Seal in my party is able to learn Cut is because of another setting in the randomizer, just to not limit my progress, and that'll be the same for the rest of the HMs going forward. So our battle against Lieutenant Surge begins! Starting with a Totodile, an easy Razor Leaf did the trick. Then he moved to an Entei, which was much less scary than I imagined. Last but not least, he pulls a Girafarig, which was another one-shot, giving us the Thunder Badge. From here, the game really opens up to us, and I decide to head to Lavender Town, just so I can knock out Rock Tunnel early on. So I thought about getting Flash, not realizing that I need to have caught 10 Pokemon in the Pokedex to get it. So my run there was a waste of time, and I'm having to run through Rock Tunnel blind, something I'd never done before. On the way, I grabbed the TM for Toxic, so I got rid of Poison Powder for it since it is the superior move, applying badly poisoned as opposed to regular poison and just having higher accuracy anyways. At the entrance to the cave now, I think I want to do this blind, to see how long it would actually take, but just for you. No one else, and this is a one-time thing, so don't be missing it afterwards. So it actually did not take the longest time, but remember that PP problem I said we'd have later on? Well, it came up here. Rock Tunnel has a stupid amount of trainers in it, so naturally we need PP on our moves to knock their Pokemon out. The problem was that Aeroblast had 5, Toxic had 10, and Synthesis had 5 too. And when I eventually ran out of Razor Leaves, I had to resort to Toxic stalling. That process including throwing Pokeballs just to waste turns or using Synthesis even when my health was full. And after those were gone, I had to start struggling, which ended up being just enough to get me through the rest of the cave with the potions I had left. From Lavender, I decided to head to Celadon because even if we entered the Pokemon Tower now, we couldn't finish everything we needed to do there because we don't have the Sylph Scope, so I'll be saving it for later. Now that we're in Celadon, I want to check the department store for TMs, since I did say that secondary marts were randomized, and that includes the TM moves that are sold there, and the options are mediocre, so I skipped out on buying them. We grabbed the tea and we entered the gym and, well, this happened. Wait, I can explain! The trainer had a Nidorina come out earlier that poisoned my Meganium, and they had a bit too many Pokemon to cycle through, so I was taking damage every turn and ended up fainting. Second try though, and we made it through the trainer no problem. Erica time. She leads with the Pineco. No big deal. Then out comes Ghastly. Done deal. And lastly, Staryu. Not even close to our problem, earning us the Rainbow Badge. Pretty easy gym if I had to say so myself. Now that that's done, we move on to Team Rocket Hideout. Inside, we found a Leftovers, an absolutely amazing item that will heal you a little bit every turn. So I put that on Meganium right away. The hideout was pretty easy, all things considered, albeit with a few Pokemon Center stops along the way purely because of PP again. It's time to fight Giovanni. He leads with Feebas, not the most threatening thing there, buddy. He brings out Ditto next, which was another easy one-shot, although it could have been scary. Last up, Ledian. Aeroblast. Giovanni is down and we get our Silscope. We now head for the Pokemon Tower to fight Solo again, and everything can be taken down with the Razor Leaf, so yeah, that sure happened. I should probably give you guys a stat update on this Meganium now, since we're about halfway through the run. Overall, Meganium stats are pretty balanced, which makes me glad it got picked instead of Deoxys. We've got decent bulk, a healing move, and a healing item. I think we're really well off with the pace we're going at. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any ideas as to how to make this challenge harder, considering how we are way over leveled in this run, and I'd like to know you guys' thoughts in future challenge runs. We're in Fuchsia now, so on to Koga. But before that, we grabbed the HMs for Surf and Strength, because reasons. For real now, Koga time! Starting with Igglybuff, it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. He then sends out Nidoking, which is a little bit scary because of Mega Horn, which hits for 50 HP on Meganium. But we managed to get through it. His next Pokemon was a Sunkern. I just hit it with an Aeroblast and that was that. Last was Slackoth, so a Razor Leaf did the job, earning us the Soul Badge. After this, we go to Saffron to deal with Team Rocket at Silphco, on top of fighting Sologun, who ended up having 2 Deoxys. You tell me the odds of that. Because I actually want to know. Like, seriously. We then get a gift Totodile, which I named Johto Sucks, because it does, and we meet up with Giovanni again for another battle, being ridiculously easy. Now we fight Sabrina at the gym. By the way, simple trick for the puzzle in this gym, just keep going to the bottom leftmost teleporter and you'll have no stress getting through it at all. Alright, Sabrina battle time. She leads with Ho-Oh. I Toxic it and it hits me with a Gust, doing a decent amount of damage. We hit an Aeroblast and land a crit. Not sure if that mattered or not to knock it out from where it was. Next was a Pupitar, so Razor Leaf. Lastly, she had a Wigglytuff. I used Toxic just for safety, not realizing that gym leaders in this game pack full heals. But that ended up not mattering because Aeroblast just finished in one hit anyways. Landing us the Marsh Badge. Right now we're sitting at 6 badges. 2 more to go. Let's do it. We set up for Cinnabar next. Go to the mansion and head to the gym. Versus Blaine. Here we go. First up is Lunatone, and you already know. Graveler, well, yeah. Then Tauros literally gave me a free pass and swagger for his next mod, Skiploom, giving us the Volcano Badge. We're in the final stretch now. Only the 8th gym and the Elite 4 left. Here we are. Versus Giovanni for the final time. He starts with Tailo, tracing my pressure ability, which is not a great start at all in the grand scheme of things. Pressure makes it so that every time I use a move, it'll act as if I use 2 PP instead of 1. And considering how Aeroblast only has 5 PP, this might take a turn for the worse. Next was Vaporeon, so I threw some leaves at it. He then throws a Rapidash onto the field, and I Toxic it for safety just in case and hit it with an Aeroblast to turn after, taking it out. Next Pokemon, Hitmontop. Aeroblast. Lastly, Staryu, Razor Leaf. And with that, we now have every gym badge. Onto the league. But not before another battle with Solo. He started with Shuppet, easy KO. Next was Dusclops, which was a bigger problem than I expected because he used Curse, which takes a chunk of my HP every turn, so I need to take Solo down fast or this could go downhill really quickly. Most of the rest of his team wasn't that bad, except for when he sent out his Deoxys. I was speeding subscribe and hitting it with a Psycho Boost. Yeah, this might take a bit more time. I need to get rid of that Dusclops in one shot or else it'll really bite me later on in the battle. Attempt number 2. Dusclops didn't curse me this time, but he burned me with Will-O-Wisp. So it's slightly better, but Aeroblast will do less damage now because flying is physical in this game. Deoxys comes in again and uses Psycho Boost. It knocks me out again, even at above 100 HP. I'll give it just one more shot before I grind more levels, because I think we have an honest shot at that battle, just with a little more RNG. Third try, and we ran into a new problem. Dusclops went for Curse again, but then Mareep went for Light Screen, so that my Razor Leafs weren't doing as much as they should have. Then that crippled me for the Deoxys to finish me off. At this point, we need to grind. After kicking a few bikers to the curb, Subscribe is now at level 73. And his stats aren't a drastic improvement, but we'll have to see just how much they matter. Attempt number 4. Utter failure. Attempt number 5. Maybe I should just use Aeroblast on the Dusclops to see how far that gets me with my current stats. So I do. Barely missing the kill, giving him the chance to use Will-O-Wisp, leaving me burnt. That's fine, as long as Deoxys doesn't kill me straight away. But he goes for Cosmic Power to Hyper Beam. That easily could have been another dead battle if he just decided to click Psycho Boost again. But sure, alright, do what you want to, bud. And now, Elite Four time. Here's what Subscribe is looking like right now. I ultimately decided to get rid of Aeroblast for Flame Wheel instead, mostly because of the low PP on Aeroblast. Never minding the fact that it could miss too. I also gave him Leech Seed for the same reason, and while it heals, I'm also doing bits of free chip damage, which is nice. Alright, let's do this. First member is Lorelei, who sends out Misdreavus first and immediately goes for the Perish Song. This is going to be a rough one, huh? With that, we automatically lose, so I'll just reset. Attempt number 2. And it's impossible once more because our one Razor Leaf can't take it out from full if it keeps going for Perish Song. So, dead fight again. Third time's the charm because it just doesn't go for it. And we take it out with 2 Razor Leaves. Next up is Octillery, which I'm pretty sure gets Ice-type moves, but we were fine nonetheless. Trico got Flame Wheeled. Then I notice a problem that I don't have covered with this Meganium. Dragon types. Specifically of the Dragon Flying type variety. I mean, yeah, I've got Toxic and Leech Seed. But how much damage can they do to me in the time that it takes for me to do to them? I start off setting up Leech Seed and Toxic on her Dratini, and it worked out pretty well. Although, I'm not entirely sure what would happen if it were a Dragonite or a Salamence instead. The last Pokemon was Whiscash, and by now, you know the deal. With that, Lorelei was defeated. Bruno is up next, leading with my Lotic. We missed our first Razor Leaf, letting it set up a Rain Dance. We go for another, we land a critical hit, finishing it off. After that, he sent out Caterpie, so that was easy as pie. And now we run into the Dragon type problem again, except this time it's a Latios. We start off with the Toxic, and he goes for Psychic, doing a decent amount of damage. Accuracy wasn't really being all that nice to me as I missed my first Leech Seed, but we still managed to land it before things were getting dicey. After a bit of healing shenanigans, it goes down. His last Pokemon was a Sableye, which took a few turns, but we eventually made it through. My primary concern at this point is PP, since we're only on the second Elite Four member, having already gone through half of our Razor Leaves. This is going to be tight, folks. Agatha is up next on the cutting board, leading with Magnemite, easy Flame Wheel. Murkrow next, no problem. But then, Misdreavus comes back, using Psybeam and getting the confusion right away. I just have to pray it doesn't go for Perish Song and we should be fine. I was wrong. It used Grudge. And in the moment, I forgot what Grudge did. What Grudge does is take away all the remaining PP of the move that the user was knocked out by. In my case, Razor Leaf. So we're going to have to finish the run without it. And the fact was that I couldn't solely rely on the Toxic Leech Seed combo to work either, as it would eventually run out of PP. Nevertheless, we still beat Agatha. On to Lance. Until I realized that I had a Leppa Berry in my bag! I used it to restore the PP of Razor Leaf by 10, which should be enough for the rest of the run. Lance is up, starting with a Regirock. Razor Leaf. Easy. I had to be really cautious with my PP at this point. Everything was running out. Fast. The rest of his Pokemon weren't too much of an issue, until we ran into his Alakazam that set up Calm Mind on the first turn. which is making his psychics hit for a whole lot more, but luckily we clutched it at the end. Here's what our PP situation is looking like. Honestly, it's literally impossible with the numbers we've got right now, but let's just give it a shot first to see how far we can get. So I used up all my PP and now I'm being forced to struggle. We might have a chance because I'm holding leftovers. That residual healing might be able to carry us to the end. Or not. So, we need to grind to be able to one-shot more of what they have in there. Because with how we're hitting on the regular, most of the time, it'll take at least 2 shots to be able to knock something out. Alright! Back to where we were after a few attempts at level 90 now. Here's our PP situation. Not much better, but still better than what we had before. Let's go fight solo again. Starting with the Chimecho, I hit Toxic before it could safeguard. Then we put the Leech Seed on him. We hit a Flame Wheel that does about enough for the Leech Seed and the poison to get the KO. Next up is Suicune, which I'll also Leech Seed to get the residual healing and damage. Then we hit it with the Razor Leaf, which does about 90% of his HP. He heals, so I go for a Flame Wheel for the extra chip damage and get the burn. I hit another Razor Leaf, getting the kill. And now we're out of them. He sends in Glalie. An easy 2-shot from Flame Wheel. Next was Ledian. I go for Flame Wheel, getting another burn, and he once again full restores it off. Now I'm out of attacking moves and it's all up to status from here. I use a Timer Ball just to stall out the next turn, and I had to throw my Master Ball for another turn. Miltank was up next. If I played this right, I could have the game in the bag. And with a few struggles, Miltank goes for a few body slams, gets the paralysis by the way, but goes down after a few more struggles. He then sends in his last Mon, his Deoxys. And because Deoxys has absolutely 0 defenses, one struggle took it out. With that, we managed to beat Pokemon FireRed Randomized with a single random Pokemon of our own. I'm not going to lie to you, that champion match was a nail biter. What with not having many power points going into it. I was super stressed out near the end, but we managed to do it. So there you have it. If you enjoyed my run of this challenge, please make sure to give this video a like and tell me what you thought of it in the comments below, as I appreciate any and all feedback. And if you're looking forward to seeing more of these challenge videos, then please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any ideas of your own, please suggest those in the comments as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!